The tragedy of Jay Slater, the 19-year-old from Lancashire who vanished in Tenerife earlier this summer, has continued to grip the nation. What began as a frantic hunt for a missing teenager turned into a devastating discovery after weeks of unanswered questions, speculation, and heartbreak. Now, a search expert who worked on the operation has come forward to paint a harrowing picture of the landscape where Jay lost his life, and to share the unbearable grief his mother has been enduring ever since. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. The Unforgiving Terrain. The expert, who has spent years navigating Tenerife's mountainous landscapes, described the treacherous ground where Jay was last believed to have fallen. "This is not like the countryside back home in England," he said. "The Tenno Mountains are brutal. It is a mix of jagged volcanic rock, deep ravines, sudden drop-offs, and loose gravel. One wrong step, especially if you are dehydrated or disoriented, can be fatal." Jay, who had been holidaying on the island with friends, vanished after leaving a remote Airbnb in Masca. The area is popular with hikers, but notorious for its unforgiving terrain. With temperatures soaring into the high 30s and little shade, experts say dehydration sets in quickly. The search specialist explained that the path Jay attempted to navigate would have been especially perilous for someone unprepared. "It is a place that looks deceptively beautiful, but you must respect it. Tourists often think they can walk their way out, but the cliffs are like knives, the sun is relentless, and the valleys swallow sound. If you fall, there's little chance of being heard." A desperate final journey. Investigators believe Jay may have been trying to make his way back to his friends after a night of partying. He reportedly called a friend to say he was lost, had no water, and was unsure of his location. That was the last anyone heard from him alive. The search expert, who has worked on several recovery missions in Tenerife, said the area was a labyrinth of danger. From where he started, you can walk for hours and only end up deeper in trouble. The heat bounces off the rocks, so it feels even hotter. Even experienced hikers carry liters of water, proper boots, GPS, and still face risk. For a teenager with none of that, the odds were stacked against him. When asked about the fall itself, the expert's voice lowered. "The terrain shows signs of slips and drops. A misstep there can send someone tumbling dozens of meters. We believe Jay tragically lost his footing in one of these spots. The rocks don't forgive, you don't get a second chance." A mother's endless grief. While the details of the landscape and the search are harrowing, what haunts those close to the case most is the suffering of Jay's family. His mother, Debbie, has been described as utterly broken by the ordeal. "She is crying all the time," the searcher revealed. "There are no words to take away that pain. She sat with us many days, begging us to keep looking, even when hope was slipping away." In the days following Jay's disappearance, Debbie was a constant presence near the search site. Witnesses recall her pleading with police to widen the operation, convinced her son could still be found alive. "Please subscribe to my YouTube channel," the expert said. A mother never wants to believe her child is gone. She held on to every sliver of hope. When the body was recovered, her screams echoed off the cliffs. "I've worked in this field for years, but that sound will never leave me." The relentless search. For over 2 weeks, Spanish police, mountain rescue units, helicopters, drones, and volunteers scoured the mountains. Dogs were brought in to trace scent trails, and thermal cameras were used to search ravines and caves. Yet the terrain constantly fought against them. "Every step was dangerous for us too," said the expert. "You climb up only to find another drop. You think you've covered a section, but there are dozens of hidden gullies. It's like trying to search a broken maze." Volunteers described blistered feet, dehydration, and exhaustion from the sun. Local villagers left bottles of water outside their doors for rescuers. Still, days passed with no trace. The family set up a base nearby, praying for news. Jay's friends circulated his photo across social media, urging tourists and locals to keep their eyes open. But as days turned into weeks, hope waned. The heartbreaking discovery. When remains matching Jay were eventually recovered, the mountain fell silent. The expert, who was part of the team that assisted in the final phase of the search, said, "It was both a relief and a tragedy. Relief that we could bring him back to his family, but tragedy that a young life was ended in such a cruel way. Jay's mother had to be supported by relatives when the confirmation came. She later released a short statement thanking everyone who had tried to find her son, but her grief was palpable. "There are no winners in this," the searcher added. "Only loss. For his mum, it is an open wound that will never fully heal." Community in mourning. Back in Lancashire, Jay's hometown rallied to support his family. Vigils were held, candles lit, and fundraising efforts launched to help cover the costs of bringing him home and laying him to rest. His friends remembered him as a cheeky, fun-loving teen who always had a smile on his face. Local football teammates described him as a lad who would light up the pitch and the pub after. But beneath the tributes lay frustration and questions. Some asked why the Airbnb was so remote, or why Jay had attempted such a perilous walk alone. Others criticized online speculation, saying it only deepened the family's pain. The expert's warning. The search expert hopes Jay's story serves as a stark reminder to others. Tenerife is a paradise, but it is also wild. If you wander into the mountains without preparation, you're gambling with your life. The sun, the cliffs, the isolation. It's a dangerous cocktail. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. He stressed that tourists should never underestimate the island's wilderness, even when it seems accessible from holiday resorts. We don't want another family going through this. Always plan, always carry supplies, and if you're in doubt, don't go. Debbie's silent strength. Despite her devastation, those close to Debbie say she has shown remarkable resilience. She has vowed to keep her son's memory alive, sharing old photographs, smiling moments, and stories from his childhood. Friends say she often whispers, "He was my baby, my world." The search expert, who has kept in touch with the family since, described her as a mother living with permanent heartbreak. "When we left, she hugged us and kept saying thank you. But we knew there was no comfort strong enough. She has to carry this loss for the rest of her life." An echo across the island. Even in Tenerife, the tragedy has left an imprint. Locals in Masca still speak of the teenager who never came back down from the mountain. Guides now warn hikers more explicitly about the risks, and makeshift memorials have appeared near trails. The expert said, "Every time I go back, I will think of him. The mountain remembers, and so do we." A life cut short. At 19, Jay's life was just beginning. He had dreams, friends, laughter, and a future waiting for him back home. Instead, his story ended in a lonely ravine far from the people who loved him most. His mum, Debbie, summed it up in one heartbreaking line. "He went on holiday and never came back." Closing thoughts. The story of Jay Slater is not just about a tragic accident, it is about the peril of underestimating nature, the relentless devotion of a mother, and the community that gathered to mourn a life taken too soon. The expert who walked those mountains searching for him says he will never forget the sound of Debbie's grief echoing across the rocks. "She is crying, crying, crying," he said. And all of us who were there carry a piece of that pain with us now. As candles continue to burn in Jay's memory, his story stands as both a caution and a tribute, a reminder that while landscapes may be beautiful, they can also be unforgiving, and that behind every headline is a family left shattered, searching for answers in the silence. Subscribe the channel to get such videos.